Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Community Day Poltergeist Chandelure in the Ultra League. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now Poltergeist is a very powerful charge move, but it costs a lot of energy, 75 energy, so we'll have to see if on a glassy Pokemon like Chandelure, it is going to be worth using. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Poltergeist Chandelure in action in the Ultra League. Hopping into the first match, picking up a great lead, Verizion into Jellicent. Opponent save switches into Cobalion. Most Verizions do run Sacred Sword, so this may be able to grab a shield. Leaf Blade does get a shield, and then in comes Chandelure. Stone Edge would easily one-shot here. A shield comes up, and it is the Stone Edge. That's a big shield. Chandelure continuing to farm up, and is going for the Flame Charge. Does Cobalion want to give up the final shield? Yes, they do. But Chandelure should be able to shield once and then farm down. Opponent goes for a bait. That's scary, but this is not enough for the Stone Edge. This should just be only another Sacred Sword. So now the opponent is out of shields, and they have a boosted Chandelure. Chandelure reaches the Poltergeist. Poltergeist one-shots the Talonflame. They're gonna bring back in Jellicent. Jellicent farming up, and they're gonna fire off a move. They do not want to be hit with another Poltergeist. Bubble Beam will take out the Chandelure, but there are two grass types waiting for this Jellicent. In comes Verizion. Verizion is going straight for the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade is going to hit for some nice super effective damage onto the Jellicent. Jellicent continues to farm up. It's going to be firing back with a Shadow Ball here. Shadow Ball, pretty solid move, but Verizion is quite tanky. Verizion hangs on, fires off the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade takes out the Jellicent, and that is a good game. Tough lead in the next match, Verizion into Dragonite, but Verizion is running the surprise nuke of Stone Edge. Can it land? No, it cannot, as the opponent commits the shield. A save switch into Trevenant. Trevenant will be able to tank the Dragon Claw here, no problem, but the Dragonite is running Hurricane. Disaster strikes, and down goes Trevenant. Back in comes Verizion. Verizion getting low, going to be firing off a Leaf Blade bait, hoping for the shield, and gets the shield. It's going to be a race. Can Verizion get to the Stone Edge? It cannot, as it dies with the move. All that's left is Chandelure and two shields. Chandelure commits the shield. This is a superpower Hurricane Dragonite, and then the opponent switches in a Scizor. They must be double steal in the back, and things are suddenly looking like there may actually be a chance here. Dragonite continuing to farm. They're going to fire off a move. At this point, they are going to fire off the Hurricane. Chandelure looking for the farm down. Gets it. In the back, it's Escav, and Chandelure going for the Poltergeist. Poltergeist one-shots the Escav with neutral damage, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Verizion into the mirror. But this is a very awkward mirror match without Sacred Sword, as you're only able to hit for resisted damage, while your opponent is going to be able to hit for neutral with Sacred Sword. Verizion fires off the Leaf Blade. That's not going to do a lot of damage. Firing off another Leaf Blade, and that looks to be a CMP tie. Leaf Blade able to land. The opponent is going to start to return fire. Maybe better off switching out here, just because you do have two pretty decent responses to Verizion in the back. Another Sacred Sword coming through. Going to let that through. Continuing to farm. Opponent at a third Sacred Sword. Going to be committing the shield. Looking for the switch, but it's a simultaneous save switch. Trevenant into Shadow Snorlax, and that is incredibly bad. Trevenant is going to spam out Seed Bomb after Seed Bomb, but Shadow Snorlax is notoriously tanky, just able to absorb that damage very well. Snorlax fires off the Body Slam. That does not do a lot, but at this point for Snorlax, it's all about getting the chip damage to assist with the farm down. Snorlax, wanting to preserve some HP, commits a shield, and they fire off a Body Slam just before Trev is able to reach a move. Snorlax is going to be able to leave with a lot of HP remaining, which is quite scary for Chandelure. In comes Chandelure. These licks absolutely tearing through Chandelure. Body Slam is going to be double resisted here, but it's still going to hurt. Chandelure fires off the Flame Charge, Flame Charge will do a lot of damage. Opponent commits the shield. They bring in Verizion. Verizion not able to get to a move. A big mistake by the opponent, as they have now given this Chandelure a free boosted Flame Charge. Flame Charge takes out the Snorlax. In the back, it is Drapion. Poltergeist is resisted, but Poltergeist will do more here. Can Chandelure survive the 1 HP of damage through the shield? Yes, it can, and it gets to the boosted Poltergeist. Poltergeist takes down the Drapion, and that is a good game. Nightmare lead in the next match, Verizion into Articuno. Articuno is good against both Verizion and Trev, so unfortunately you can't really switch out here. The one hope would of course be the Stone Edge. Stone Edge does get shielded, Articuno respects it, and that is absolutely terrible. Articuno goes for the Icy Wind, that deals a ton of damage. Verizion going for another Stone Edge, but it falls just short. That is really unfortunate. In comes Chandelure. Chandelure is able to hit for super effective damage here. Chandelure commits the shield, just the Icy Wind. In comes Jellicent. Jellicent farming up. Chandelure is going for the Poltergeist, even debuffed. This is gonna hurt. Opponent commits the shield, and a shielded Poltergeist just feels so bad because of how expensive of a move it is. Able to call the Bubble Beam, which is quite nice. In comes Trevenant. Trevenant is going to have to try and close out this game. They go for the Shadow Ball. Trev is going to farm up and fire off the Shadow Ball. This, of course, will hit for massive super effective damage, taking out the Jellicent. But the problem is, there's still that Articuno in the back, and I'm not sure if Trev overfarmed enough, and it did not. That is really unfortunate. Icy Wind gets the Trev low. Trev only going to be able to reach a Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb is not going to be doing a lot of damage. In comes Chandelure. Chandelure looking for the farm down, but Articuno says no. Able to reach the Icy Wind. Icy Wind will take down the Chandelure, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, now running a different team, leading Swampert into Shadow Typhlosion. Opponent is going to save switch into Shadow Snorlax, and that is going to be met with Cresselia. Despite the fact that Cress does take super effective damage from the licks, Cress is extremely bulky, meaning that it's going to be able to absorb this lick damage and the Body Slam spam over time. Cress able to tank that, no problem. Snorlax is going to fire off another move. Cress does not have to shield this, and Cress is going for the Moonblast. This will not KO, but it will get the Snorlax quite low. Snorlax commits the shield. Looks like Snorlax may be trying to go for a farm down, and Cress is too tanky, able to reach another Moonblast. That's gonna get the Snorlax low. Snorlax able to leave with some energy, and going to bring in Chandelure to absorb it. I really like that play, because Body Slam is not going to do a lot to Chandelure. Chandelure able to farm down. Opponent brings in Scizor. They must not like this Scizor very much, because they are absolutely sacrificing it to Chandelure. Chandelure gets the farm down. Back in comes Shadow Typhlosion. Chandelure goes for the Flame Charge bait, gets the shield, and it's about to be boosted Poltergeist time. Chandelure commits the shield on the Blast Burn and is able to reach the Poltergeist. This is one of the coolest animations in the game. Poltergeist takes out Typhlosion, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Swampert into Scrafty. Scrafty can hit the back Pokemon for super effective damage, so it is nice to catch it here. Swampert is going to farm up a lot of energy, fire off the Hydro Cannon, and grab an early shield from the Scrafty. That is quite nice. Swampert lets it through. Foul Play does a solid chunk of damage, but it's not going to be enough to KO. Swampert fires off a second Hydro Cannon. Opponent is going to let that through, as they do know that they're able to survive it. Bit of a tough call to make here. Swamp is very low. Opponent does go for the Power-Up Punch and a switch into Cresselia. Cresselia is going to be met with Shadow Drapion. This is not a great spot for Cresselia to be in, because Shadow Drapion hits absurdly hard. And with Poison Sting, they can spam out these crunches at an absolutely unreal rate. They fire off the first crunch. That deals so much damage. Going for a second Moonblast, but the Drapion is able to win CMP. Commits the shield. Drapion baited with an Aqua Tail, and things are not looking good here. Drapion commits the shield, continuing to farm, and they're going to fire off another move. Cress calls the Aqua Tail. This time it is the crunch, and Cress gets taken out. In comes Chandelure, but Chandelure is not going to appreciate the Aqua Tail nor the crunch. Opponent fires off the Aqua Tail. Chandelure tries to go for a catch, but they're not able to get there. Drapion, Aqua Tail, massive damage. Chandelure is able to get the farm down. In the back is Nidoqueen, going for the Flame Charge. Flame Charge deals some solid damage, able to reach a second Flame Charge. This is going to be taking care of the Nidoqueen. The question is, can Chandelure survive the counters from Scrafty? Scrafty going for the counter down, and it gets it. And that will be game over, as unfortunately Scrafty will be able to take down the Swampert and lose a heartbreaking game. Hopping into the final match, leading Swampert into Nidoqueen. Great lead. Opponent goes for a Hydro Cannon catch onto Blastoise, but Swampert holds on to its energy and is going to be able to fire off the Earthquake. Earthquake able to connect. Swampert farming up some energy and looking to switch into Cresselia. Cresselia is going to effectively absorb Blastoise's energy here. Blastoise goes for the Hydro Cannon. Crest tanks it like it's nothing, overfarms and goes for the Grass Knot. And this will easily KO the Blastoise. Grass Knot gets shielded, and I don't agree with that shield by the opponent. The main reason being is Blastoise is not going to be able to flip switch here, and basically all the opponent did was ensure that not only do they not have switch advantage, but now they're also down a shield as well, making it even harder for them to fight back in this game. In comes Nido. Nido is going to fire off a move. Earth Power would KO here, Poison Fang will not, and they do go for the Earth Power. In comes Swampert. In the back, they have Clefable, and things are looking really good for a Chandelure sweep. Chandelure is just going to spam out these Flame Charges, and this, I would honestly say, is the biggest downside of Poltergeist. While it does do a lot of damage, it's so expensive to the point where in shielded situations, more often than not, as Chandelure, you're just going to be spamming out Flame Charges. Chandelure fires off the Flame Charge gets no shielded. Can Chandelure honestly just incinerate down here? Yes, it can, and that is a good game. And now some final thoughts on Poltergeist Chandelure. First off, the move does a lot of damage, so in zero shield situations, it can actually be advantageous for Chandelure to have Poltergeist. However, when it comes to shielded situations, Shadow Ball is going to consistently outperform Poltergeist. While it is slightly worse damage per energy, the damage per energy is still very similar, and since it's a significantly cheaper charge move to get to, that oftentimes will prove to be good for Chandelure, because Chandelure is not the tankiest Pokemon, so cheaper charge moves means that it is going to be able to reach more of them. So overall, Poltergeist is a pretty fun move, but unfortunately doesn't have the greatest synergy with Chandelure. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.